You spend a week preparing your webinar, the slides are polished, the content's dialed in, you've got 100 people registered. You go live and your audience sees a pixelated, choppy stream that looks like it's being broadcast from 2014. Your Wi-Fi hiccup for 10 seconds and now the whole recording is ruined too. Sound familiar? Here's the thing most people don't realize. The problem isn't your internet. It's not your camera. It's the architecture of the platform you're streaming on. Today, I'm going to break down exactly what determines your webinar streaming quality, why most tools get it wrong, and how to set up a streaming workflow that looks studio quality without a production team and without even leaving your browser. Let's get into it. If we're being real about this, your stream is inseparable from your brand quality. When someone joins your webinar and sees grainy video, hears tinny audio, or watches the stream buffer every 30 seconds, they're not thinking, oh, their internet must be slow. They're thinking, this company doesn't have their act together. And a lot of people leave at this point fast. Most viewers will bail on a low quality stream within the first minute. That's 100 leads you spend weeks nurturing gone in 60 seconds because your platform couldn't hold a stable connection. The real win is in changing the architecture you're using, and that's what the framework I'm about to show you is built around. I call my framework the stream quality stack. It's got 4 layers and each one builds on the one below it. Layer 1, recording architecture. This is the foundation. How your platform captures video determines everything downstream. Layer 2, live production. Branding, layouts, multi-streaming, the professional touches that separate a webinar from a Zoom call. Layer 3, audience engagement, because stream quality isn't just visual, it's about whether your audience is actually participating. And layer 4, post-stream repurposing, because the best stream in the world is wasted if it just sits in an offline folder forever. I'll be showing all of this inside Riverside, which is the platform I use for my webinar streaming. It's the only tool I've found that handles all 4 layers of high-quality webinar streaming consistently in one place. Let me show you what I mean. Let's talk webinar streaming architecture. This is the layer most people never even think about, and it's the one that does matter the most. Here's how most webinar platforms work. Your camera feed goes up to the cloud, gets processed on their server, and then gets sent back down to your audience. Every step depends on internet speed. If your connection drops, the stream drops. If the server is under load, quality degrades, and critically, the recording is just a capture of that same degraded stream. So if the live version looked bad, the recording's gonna look bad too. There's simply no fixing it. Riverside works differently. When you stream a webinar on Riverside, the platform does 2 things simultaneously. It sends a live stream to your audience. Yes, that does adapt to bandwidth like any stream, but it also records locally on every participant's device in up to 4K resolution. Those local files upload to the cloud in the background and are waiting for you the moment the session ends. So even if your internet has a rough moment during the live stream, your recording is still untouched. It's captured directly from your camera, not from the cloud round trip. This is a fundamentally different approach, and it's the reason the recording quality from Riverside is noticeably better than what you're going to get from Zoom, Teams, or most other webinar tools. Here's how to quickly launch a live webinar stream using Riverside. Once you're logged into your Riverside account, here in your dashboard, you'll see the button for Host a Webinar. Go ahead and click that and type in the name of your webinar, Ryan's blog reviews for this example here, and then go ahead and schedule this webinar further out in advance, ideally somewhere in the 1 to 2, maybe even 3 week range if you have other people promoting the webinar with you. Select the correct time of day, make sure your time zones are correct. This is something a lot of people get wrong when scheduling webinars, and then add a quick description for your webinar right here. If you're having other guest speakers on, you can invite them as panelists right here, but for now, we're gonna skip this. Under your advanced options, you have the ability to use a registration form powered by Riverside that makes participants fill out a form in order to access your event, or you can just directly link to the session and they can fill out their name when they join. And if you have some pre-recorded content you want to use to play during your webinar, you can hit that right here and upload it right to your stream so that it's ready once you do go live. And finally, you'll want to toggle on the live stream destinations. Here, you'll select the broadcast channels you want to send this live stream to. You can add additional destinations here. And then finally, you'll want to select the thumbnail that you'll want to use for this event. Once you're ready, you click the Create Webinar button and your webinar is now set up. And inside your settings, you've got handy links to the Google Calendar link so you can share with other people and invite them to add this to their calendar. You can copy the registration link and share that with people you want to join when you promote this event. And once you're ready to go live with your event, you can click the Start Webinar button and you'll be pulled into the Riverside studio, which I'll be showing you more later. Okay, so once your recording architecture is solid, the next layer is making your live experience look professional. And I mean actually professional, not just we put a virtual background on and hoped for the best. Inside Riverside, you can set up what they call a studio. This is where you configure everything for your stream. You can add your brand logo, custom colors, and overlays. You can set up different layouts, speaker only, speaker plus slides, gallery view, screen share. Your producer can switch between these layouts live during the session without even interrupting your stream. If you've ever used something like OBS, think of it like that, but entirely in your browser and honestly a lot simpler. Speaking of the producer, Riverside has a dedicated producer role. This is someone who can manage the session behind the scenes, switching camera layouts, managing the Q&A queue, launching polls, admitting call-ins. They don't appear on camera. This is enormous for teams because your presenter can focus on presenting while your producer runs the show. And then there's multi-streaming. You can push your webinar to YouTube, LinkedIn Live, Facebook, or any custom RTMP destination all simultaneously. One stream, multiple platforms, all from the same browser tab. You don't need Restream or a separate multi-streaming tool. All of this runs in the browser. No software installs, no plugins, and that matters when you're onboarding guest speakers or panelists who aren't going to download OBS and configure scene transitions. Here's something that gets overlooked when people talk about webinar streaming. Quality isn't just about pixels. A 4K stream where nobody interacts is still arguably a bad webinar. Engagement is part of the quality equation. Riverside gives you a full set of engagement tools built directly into the webinar experience. You've got live chat, which works for both direct attendees and people watching via multi-stream, Q&A where your audience can submit and upvote questions so you can prioritize the most popular ones, polls which you can launch mid-session to give real-time feedback, and even live call-ins. Audience members can actually join the stream temporarily, which is fantastic for Q&A segments or even panel-style discussions. These aren't add-ons or integrations, they're built into the same interface you're already streaming from. Your producer can manage all of this behind the scenes while you focus on the content. And here's the lead gen angle. Every person who registers goes into a registration table with source tracking and total minutes attended. You can export that data as a CSV or sync it straight to sales platforms like HubSpot or Salesforce. This keeps your engagement data feeding directly into your pipeline. Most webinar streaming platforms treat the stream as the finish line. You go live, the stream ends, and you're left with a video file that you have to download and drag into a completely separate editing tool. This is the layer that separates Riverside from every other webinar streaming tool I've used. With Riverside, the moment your stream ends, the recording is already inside the platform's editor. No downloading, no importing. You open the editor and start working immediately. You can trim the intro and outro, cut dead air, add captions automatically, drop in overlays, and clean up the audio with their magic audio feature. For most webinars, you can have a polished, publish-ready version done in just a few minutes. Then there's repurposing. Magic Clips uses AI to identify the strongest moments from your session and generate short-form clips ready for social media. You get a full transcript, an AI-generated summary, and show notes. All of this is available the moment the recording processes. So from one webinar stream, here's what you walk away with. A polished, full-length recording for YouTube, 3 to 5 short clips for LinkedIn, Reels, and TikTok, a transcript that becomes fuel for a blog post, a summary that becomes your newsletter, Q&A highlights that become fantastic standalone videos, and registrant data that's CRM ready. That's why the webinar streaming tool you choose really matters. From one stream, you can get an entire content library from Riverside. So that's the stream quality stack: recording architecture, live production, audience engagement, post-stream repurposing. 4 layers, and Riverside is the only platform I've found that handles all 4 without making you stitch together a pile of separate tools and funky integrations. If your webinar streams have been a little chaotic, or you've been stuck in a workflow where going live is the easy part and everything before and after is kind of a nightmare, Riverside is seriously worth checking out. I'll leave a link in the description below where you can sign up to take them for a spin with the best deal they have going on right now. If you found this video helpful, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. I put out new videos on marketing and the tools I actually use to grow my own businesses every week. I'll see you on the next one.